Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Your host Ram here on the cricket show, Cricket Happenings. And as far as today's cricket show is concerned, we'll have a sneak peek at what happened last week. I would like to start off by saying congratulations to Netherlands for winning their spot in the World Cup. In fact, Scotland, as you know, basically in the World Cup qualifiers, when I was thinking, my take was that West Indies and Zimbabwe would get it. Sorry, West Indies and Sri Lanka were favorites. Sri Lanka definitely have got their spot. They have been in good form, and they definitely have dominated in the ICC World Cup qualifiers, no doubt about it. But as far as West Indies are concerned, it is a bit of a disaster for West Indies, and they are in a point of decline right now as far as international cricket is concerned. So definitely, there's a lot of work to be done as far as the West Indians are concerned. But congratulations to the Netherlands cricket team. They beat Scotland against all odds, 277 to chase, probably in 44 overs. And so they have to really up the ante. And that man, Van Beek, first did all the damage with the ball, picking up a fifer, and then became the fourth all-rounder in the history of one-day international cricket to have not only take 5 wickets but also go and pick up make a century, is maiden ODI century. And what a way! I mean, how he actually shifted gears, changed the tempo, and finally really went berserk, starting hitting sixes all the way. And what an innings that was! I mean, Scotland were totally taken by surprise, but that was Van Beek building his innings and exploding at the right time. Got good support from Zulfikar, who stayed there with him, who also clubbed a few good sixes. And finally, as I said, congratulations to the Netherlands cricket team. They have booked their spot in the World Cup. They have been here before, but again, getting a spot in the World Cup, and then they were in and out. And finally, Netherlands have won their spot. And definitely, Netherlands are looking a very strong team. And tomorrow, we have a clash which is coming up, which is definitely not going to influence the World Cup, but definitely it will be a matter of pride. So it will be very interesting to see tomorrow when Sri Lanka and Netherlands play in the final of the ICC World Cup qualifier, which will decide as to who will pick up the ICC World Cup qualifier cup. And I'm looking out for a stirring battle tomorrow between bat and ball, between Sri Lanka and Netherlands, which is coming up tomorrow, the finals. So which will bring an end to the World Cup qualifiers as well. Now, let's have a look. I will definitely talk about the Ashes. Ashes is in a very, very interesting stage. Definitely, the England batsmen survived. There was rain today all the way, but England bowlers have done a good job in wrapping up the Australian innings pretty quickly, and they bowled out the Aussies for 237. No, sorry, not 237. I beg your pardon there. And the Aussies were bowled out for 224 today, thus setting England at 251. Already 27 has been knocked off by the openers. 224 separate them, and 2 full days remaining. England looking favourites, no doubt about it, but provided there are some changes in the pitch conditions tomorrow, it will be interesting to say what really happens, or probably the Aussies have to strike very quickly tomorrow morning. Right. I'll come back to that later. I'll definitely come back to the Ashes. But as I already told you, we are also having a sneak peek at the events that went on. Netherlands was one. Tamim Iqbal of Bangladesh announcing his retirement, and then he was coaxed out of retirement by the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. So he has withdrawn. I'm very happy for that, because I thought Tamim Iqbal should definitely play in the World Cup, because the Bangladesh are looking a really, really a big fighting unit this time in the World Cup. There's a lot of good youngsters coming through, and they have a nice blend as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Bangladeshis making a bit of noise this time in the World Cup. But for that, I was thinking that Tamim Iqbal was a very key figure with all his immense experience that he has. And I think Tamim Iqbal being in the team, I'm really happy for Bangladesh. That will really give them a chance. So they have that experience of Tamim Iqbal, Shakib Al Hasan, Mushfiqur Rahim, and then all those youngsters who are full of energy and bounce. And talking about that, Australia, as you know, they took a 2-0 lead in the Ashes series. Other than that, I'm trying to see whether there's anything else the last week that happened. That was I talked to you about Netherlands that happened. Yes, so that was about it as far as the sneak peek was concerned. Now we will get on to the Ashes series, the third test of the Ashes. Let's see how it has all panned out. Looking at the proceedings here, the Aussies batted first, 263 on the board. Mitchell Marsh spanking 118 of as many balls. In fact, what a record he has. I mean, he has 3 centuries, and all the 3 centuries in Test matches has come against England. 118 a run ball stuff, 17 fours and 4 sixes in that. And his was the innings that really pivoted Australia to a respectable total of 263. And also, Mitchell Marsh should be thanked for it because the Aussies got a 26 runs lead. Wicket takers, Mark Wood, as I said, heat was needed in England. And probably, I mean, I was wrong the other time. I thought Wood was dropped. But no, Wood in the second test was not dropped. He had an injury. But good to see Mark Wood come back and, just turn on the heat. And this is how he turned on the heat, and then he just knocked off the tail enders in double quick time. 11.4 overs, 4 maidens, 34 runs and 5 wickets in his bag, and 3 for 73 for Chris Woakes, who also made his presence felt in the team. England, in reply, bowled out for 237. Ben Stokes, what an innings! I mean, it was just coming. I mean, he was there, but look at the way he exploded after lunch. He just started going hammer and tongs at the Aussie bowlers. It didn't matter as to who was bowling, whether it was Cummins or it was Mitchell Stark, whether it was Todd Murphy. Murphy really was really taken. He was absolutely caned by Ben Stokes. The majority of the sixes coming off Murphy's deliveries. Hit 5 sixes in all, 6 fours. 80 was his total of 108 deliveries. And that's the precise reason the England, because of Ben Stokes' big hitting at the end, the England put up 237 on the board. Thus, the Aussies only taking a slender lead of 26 runs. And Pat Cummins returning best Ashes figures, one could call, as far as Pat Cummins himself is concerned. 6 for 91, 18 overs, 1 maiden, 91 runs and 6 wickets, 2 wickets to Mitchell Stark and 1 to Mitchell Marsh, and Todd Murphy also picked up a wicket, important wicket of that of Ben Stokes. Australia, today, the third day started with the rain not really relenting, kept on going. The covers were brought off, and again it used to rain, so it was like a hide and seek which was going on, and they had to wait for the pitch to get dried as well. And finally, when that happened, the Aussies were really, really looking pretty ragged in the batting department, with the English bowlers really running amok, one could call, as the Aussies were bowled out for 224. With Stuart Broad 3 wickets, Chris Woakes coming and pick up 3 wickets, 2 wickets to Mark Wood, and 2 wickets for Moeen Ali. So they resumed, and Travis Head was the feature of the game. Mitchell Marsh left for 28, but Travis had kept his cool. He hit 2 sixes of Wood as well. He also rallied around with the tail as well, and he was the man who was last out, but not before making 77 of 112 balls, 7 fours and 3 sixes included in that. And the Aussies were bowled out for 224, thus setting the Englishmen a total of 251 to win. And definitely, one has to say the England openers have definitely survived. It was not a torrid one, but it was a It was really a sort of examination, one could call. And in the 5 overs that was bowled by the Aussies at the Englishman, Zach Crawley was not out on 9. Ben Taggart was not out on 18 with 3 boundaries and 1 boundary for Crawley as well. And 27 for none, 224 still to get on the. And this is that time is not a constraint here. Even if it rains for the whole day, the final day is still there. So time is absolutely not a constraint. They can just take their own sweet time tomorrow, and England definitely looking like really going there and clinching it. But one has to wait and see. It will be very interesting to see whether England can do it. But as I mean, it's very early to say now, right now, because. We'll have to see how things go. Definitely, in the 5 overs that were seen, I would say the Aussies definitely got the edge of the bats of both the batsmen. As I think one or two or probably three, actually we had the ball actually bouncing, first bounce going into the slip region. So that is something really victory for the bowler as long as you're edging it, and so definitely we have a real good game on hand. I mean, I'm sure England can't really rest this night by saying, "Oh, they are going to win this match." They know how important it is, this victory, if it comes. If it comes, then the equation becomes 2-1. They'll be their first win in this, and they would have stopped Australia in their tracks. But if England tomorrow don't get on to victory, then the Aussies retain the Ashes as they win the series as well. So, looking forward to a very, very enthralling session coming up tomorrow, enthralling whole day coming up tomorrow on the fourth day of this Ashes Test series. Um, Now, I'm going to shift it a bit. We talk about Bangladesh versus Afghanistan, and well, one can say Afghanistan tour of Bangladesh. They have been really swimming well for them. With Afghanistan already won the three-match series. I mean, they have taken a 2-0 lead in the series. So that is a real psychological, really big victory for Afghanistan, according to me, against Bangladesh. And what a partnership today. I mean, we saw one of the record partnerships by Afghanistan in their ODI history. The previous record was held by Mohammad Shahzad, the Dasher, as you call the Mad Max, as you call him. And he's still there in the team, but he has not been got an opportunity. I'm looking forward to Mohammad Shahzad getting an opportunity in the final ODI against Bangladesh. The second ODI, Afghanistan, really, the openers putting up a grandstand, an absolute record, a big record in ODI history of 256 runs added by this wonderful opening pair, one of the very aggressive opening batsmen, Rahmanullah Gurbaz, who made 145 of 125 deliveries, which included 13 fours and 8 sixes. And Ibrahim Zadran, another sort of a much more restrained knock than Ramnala Gurbaz, one could call, but his contribution was 100 exactly of 119 deliveries, which included 9 fours and 1 6. And what a partnership! I mean, if you look at the card, 256 runs added by this opening pair. I mean, and after 36.1 overs, one would have probably expected the Afghanistan to breach the 400 mark, but it was not to be. The Bangladeshi bowlers really really had a stranglehold over the Afghanistan team once the first wicket went at 256, and after that it was tough going for Afghanistan, and finally they managed to eke out 331 for 9 in the final analysis after 50 overs. But after that, there was only one man who probably did a bit, and it was Mohammad Nabi, not out 25. But other than that, I'm not going to even get into it. The bowling today, definitely. And Ramanullah Gurbaz, I was really impressed by one of the strokes. That I know that he has enormous talent, no doubt about it. He plays in the IPL, he plays in the overseas leagues as well. But one shot of his really, really stood out for me is a straight banging of Mustafizur Rahman for a straight six of Mustafizur Rahman, the left armer, which was splendidly done, in my opinion. Other than that, 2 wickets to Mustafizur, two to Hassan Mahmood, 2 wickets to Shakib Al Hassan, two to Mehdi Hassan Miraz, and one to Abadat Hussain. Now, Bangladesh chasing this, really, it was there was not much of a fight at all. They were bowled out for 189, a very good bowling effort. I mean, the batsmen supported very ably by the bowlers. Fazali Farooqi, who has been having a very good series here, 7.2 overs on made and 22 runs on 3 wickets. Mujibur Rahman, a bit costly by standards, 10 overs no made and 40 runs and 3 wickets. He bought his wickets there. Mohammad Salim, 6 overs, none for 34. Nabi, 1 for 29. Rashid Khan, as usual, did his job perfectly. 9 overs, 2 for 28. And 5 overs, Azmatullah Omarzai. And 189 all out, as I said, for Bangladesh. Not good going at all. And especially considering that this was a batting track, I think Bangladesh definitely needs to look into it. And yes, it's not a happy news for Bangladesh. Yes, they lost it in the Duckworth Lewis, but on a batting pitch, they could not. I was probably looking at the wicket, and it was a really placid one. So I was expecting the Bangladeshis to really make a fist of it, or probably even overpower it. But I'm told that if at all Bangladesh had overpowered this total of 331, that would have been the highest chase for Bangladesh in their ODI history. We would have had another record. It was not to be. So full credit to the Afghanistan bowlers for raising the Bangladeshi total. I mean, seeing to it that they did not allow the Bangladeshi batsmen to flower, and Mushfiqur Rahim was their positive aspect of it, with 69 of 85 deliveries, included 6 boundaries and 25 coming on from Mathias and Miraz in the lower order of 48 deliveries, 2 fours, and the game was done and dusted. Well, it just gives me time. As you know, the India are touring the West Indies, and they are there for a succession of test matches, 2 test matches, I reckon, and then we have the ODIs and T20s following. So West Indies squad has been announced. It's a very good squad. I believe I'm very happy with the pace department that the West Indies have announced. They have Shannon Gabriel. I'm very happy for Shannon Gabriel. I always felt that he's someone who is a really a sort of a bowler who's a very sharp bowler and has an aggression to it. And looking at Alzari Joseph, as you know, he's the to me, he will be the even though there is Kemar Roche, because going by the current form, I think Alzari Joseph is going to be the future. So Alzari Joseph, Shannon Gabriel, Kemar Roche, and Jason Holt. Yes, the Indian batting order is pretty strong. There's no doubt about it. And I think this pair, this quartet should. They should really pose a sort of a challenge to the Indian batsmen. If you look at the batting, I mean, looking at the team here composition, Craig Brathwaite will captain the team. Jermaine Blackwood, there are 2 new faces in the team. Ali Athanaze, who holds the record for the fastest 50 by a West Indian in ODIs, as he did it in the ICC World Cup qualifiers. Ali Athanaze, sorry, not in the World Cup qualifier. We did it against, if I'm not wrong, it was against Bangladesh. I don't remember the team, but Ali Athanaze is the one who now holds the record for the fastest 50 for West Indies in ODI cricket. Ali Athanaze, young, is very talented. He's 26 years age. Kirk McKenzie is 22 years, I suppose. He's another left-handed batsman. He has also made his entry, so it'll be interesting to see how these 2 new blokes go. Tagnara and Chandrapal, it'll be interesting. The Shivnara and Chandrapal's son, who has already made a mark for himself on the international scene, and it'll be very good to see how he goes against the Indian bowlers, especially the spinners as well. Raymond Reefer, they have Joshua De Silva also there. Jason Holder, I mean, everyone knows. Jamil Warrican gets his spot as well, with Gurekesh Moti not being included. But also Rakim Cornwall. I'm very happy for Rakim Cornwall, because Rakim Cornwall has had a wonderful time in the West Indies domestic season last year, and he has picked up in 7 matches, he picked up 35 wickets, and that is quite a wonderful bowling performance. Jomer, I think Rakim, and also he has done well with the bat. He has hit 250s as well. So Rakim Cornwall, I think he would be a big asset to the West Indies team. One is, as I said, he's a very tall guy. heavily built. So batting is something which he's an all-rounder. He can bat. He can bowl his right arm offs as well, and besides, he's a very good slip fielder. You get in test matches. You normally have tall people like West Indies have a history of Joel Garner being in the gully, the big bird. So I think Rakim Cornwall is someone who should be in that sort of a close-in cordon, especially either. I think I would probably prefer Rakim Cornwall to be fielding in the gully when the catches actually carry and he can pouch it with his huge reach that he has. Well, it was an absolute pleasure bringing you this cricket show as usual. Hope you all loved it, and looking forward to another cricket broadcast coming up tomorrow. Especially, I'll be covering the Ashes tomorrow. I'm sure if rain not really preventing anything, definitely I'll be tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be talking to you about the outcome. We'll be knowing whether Australia have retained the Ashes or Aussies have been stopped on their tracks by England tomorrow with the 224 runs needed for England for victory. Well, again, big pleasure talking to you all, and look forward to once again talking to you tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.